last video I showed you how to make a poinsettia out of coffee filters. This ended up with a flower head like this, which is ideal for garlands or wreaths, but I wanted to see if I could produce a realistic looking poinsettia made from coffee filters so that I can put that in my hallway at Christmas without worrying that the leaves were going to fall off. So I've been busy doing more flower heads and attaching them to longer stems like this, ready for putting into a flower pot. So what you could do, instead of making these little heads like this, is to attach them as you're building them to a long stick. Or what I ended up doing is making lots of these flower heads and then unwinding the stem a little and attaching a stick to it. So I'm going to do that for this final one here. All in all, I think I'm going to have 9 of these flower heads, and I've done most of them on a firm, a rigid wooden stem. I've done a couple though using this soft twist plant ties. It's just about sturdy enough to keep a flower head straight up, but it gives me the option, if I wish, to flex the position of that flower head so I can get a nice realistic looking arrangement. So what I was doing with my little flower heads here, I just started to unwind a little bit of the stem tape that I'd used, just so it was below those leaves. And I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to attach a longer stem and I'm going to attach some more leaves so that we've got, you can look at this one here, we've got 2 layers of leaves. The leaves and the bracts, the red ones at the top, the initial layer, and then a second layer, just so we've got some good foliage when it comes to making the flower pot arrangement. So with this, having just opened it up a little bit, I'm going to open up these stems . And we don't need all of those, so I'm going to cut most of those off. We just need enough so that we can build in the stem to what we're doing. So I'm going to pop the stem there, put those individual leaf wires around them, and first of all I'm just going to attach that with stem tape. So closing up that little join to make it as secure as possible. Then I'm going to rewind the original stem tape. Take it down to that join and then start again at the top with some more stem tape to completely strengthen that join, and then continue that all the way down the stem. I'm not. I'm then going to add the second row of leaves. And in this case, although I did 5 originally, I'm going to do just 3 here. It depends how many leaves you've got on standby. I think I've got lots and lots more leaves already made. I may have done 4 or 5 leaves extra per stem. We'll see how it looks when they're all assembled together. But I think for now, I just got those odd 3 left here. So I'm going to be content with having 3 leaves on. So I'm pulling the stem tape, twisting the stem. That should be enough. Okay, so now I've got all of my poinsettia ready. I just need a pot to put them in. And for my pot, what I've used here is a plain black plastic plant pot. I just fetched it from out of the garden. We had some plants in it from a garden centre, so the pot was sitting there empty. Because I got some coffee filters left over, I used coffee filters to just smooth the shape of it so it didn't look so much like a plant pot, and then used décor patch rice paper. This is in a lovely gold crackle pattern to decorate it initially, and then use some other rice paper with Christmassy type decor on. That involved a lot of fussy cutting to cut those out, but I put those around the pot, and inside I filled it. If you could feel that now, that's quite a weight. I wanted something that was a really solid piece of decor, and I just used a very cheap, this is the cheapest I could find in our local Wilkinson store that we have here in the UK. It's once for all-purpose filler powder, and I just made up enough of that so that this pot is filled probably just over halfway with filler. It's also got a rim of it in the middle, around the edge, and then I've packed it full of that dry Oasis foam. You know, the sort that you can get. This was in circles. You can get it in blocks as well. So I've just packed that full of foam. So that is really solid now. So all I'm going to do now is to put in the poinsettia. I've also got some dried moss that I'm going to use. Once I've filled this with the poinsettia, I'm going to cover up that top. I'm going to super glue or glue gun the moss in so that it's really firm. What I want to end up with is a pot of poinsettia that looks good but is also going to last throughout the Christmas season, so I want it to be quite firm. So that's looking not too shabby for a pot of poinsettias. So what I'm going to do now is to get my glue gun and some moss, and in order that I can get it to where I need to go, I'm going to remove one of those, and I'm going to start to glue gun some of this moss in the centre. This is purely to cover up, can you see that? Purely to cover up that foam. your pot of poinsettias ready for Christmas. So having completed this arrangement, as I thought, I didn't like the fact that I could see the stems. So what I've done is to add another row of leaves onto the poinsettia. So it now has, if you can see there, it has the red bracts or petals at the top, and then it has one row of 5 leaves, one row of 4, and then a final row of 5 leaves. So that when it is completed within the arrangement, gives a lot better overall appearance. So I'm far happier with that now. So that then is the completed poinsettia arrangement, consisting of 9 poinsettia flower heads in order to make one arrangement using coffee filters, gel icing colour, glue, beads, floristry wire and stem tape, all within a plant pot that's been covered with papier-mâché to improve the shape, and then some decoupage to decorate it.